Hi, my name is Ben Walters, and today I'm going to be doing a book report on The Watchman's Rattle by Rebecca D. Costa. Rebecca D. Costa is an American social biologist and futurist and an expert in the field of fast adaptation, which she talks about and implies in her book The Watchman's Rattle. Let's start out with a brief summary. Costa begins her book by discussing the Mayan civilization and talks about how they could no longer think their way out of issues as their civilization began to grow. This leads to Costa discussing two key aspects of when a society is going to collapse. The first being gridlock, when civilizations can no longer manage their large issues, and substituting beliefs for facts. Following this, Costa gets into a discussion that I believe is the meat of her book. She discusses how there are beliefs that can embed themselves within a society and lead to the inhibition of progress of people. She calls these super memes, which are irrational beliefs that can embed themselves in a civilization and overtake common held beliefs. She identifies 5 different super memes that she thinks is responsible for the inhibition of progress and could lead to societal collapse. These 5 super memes are irrational opposition, the personalization of blame, counterfeit correlation, silo thinking, and extreme economics. Costa ends her book by discussing how we can prevent us from reaching a cognitive threshold and how we can identify super memes, which she gives us the tools to do so in the book. This way, we can prevent ourselves from having irrational beliefs that take over society and that which lead to a eventual societal collapse. I want to start my analysis by first saying how much I enjoyed this book from start to finish. It was very good and enjoyable. And then I want to go into how relevant I think this book is to the world. Published in 2010, it hits on issues that we are experiencing now a decade later. For instance, multiple times throughout the book, especially at the beginning, when Costa is describing societal collapse, she says that society is not prepared for something such as a pandemic virus. Little did she know that in 10 years' time, the coronavirus pandemic would shut down the world as we know it. The next thing I want to talk about is how my thoughts have been changed by this book. There's many things in my life that I have believed just because society has told me. For instance, one quote in the book that I really liked was that Costa says that throughout society, kids are engraved that we only use 10% of our brain, and adults believe that too because that's been told to us. However, this is a myth. It is an example of a super meme that throughout society causes false belief in something that's not true. I think that this hits on something that means a lot to me and has changed my thinking because I like to be knowledgeable and know what I'm talking about. However, knowing that something that has been told to me my whole life is false and that I should be on the lookout for things that help support my beliefs rather than just listening to what society says is a very important facet of life and something that I'm going to be implementing in my life from here on out. Overall, I think this book is relevant, insightful, and enjoyable. With over 50 pages of references and a well thought out and well written book, I think everybody should read The Watchman's Rattle by Rebecca Costa. Thank you for listening to my book report.